Hi guys, my name is Vlatka and welcome to my channel. In this video I'm gonna show you how to make an alpha friendship bracelet using the clean back alpha technique, a technique invented by Nothing Addict, so make sure to check out her Instagram profile. What makes this technique so good is the fact that, compared to the flat alpha technique, both sides of your alphas look good, and you can see what the pattern looks like on both sides. How do you accomplish that? Let me show you. First I'm gonna make a basic loop and shape start for my bracelet. If you are already familiar with how to make them, move to the next section where I explain the clean back alpha technique. To make this bracelet you need 6 strings, 5 of which need to be 90 cm long and 1, which we are going to use to make the loop, 20 cm longer than the others. All of them need to be folded in half, which in total makes 12 base strings. To fold the strings in half, take the ends of the strings, hold them in one place with one hand while you move your other hand to the middle until you reach it. Then tape down the strings a little bit higher than the actual middle point. Take the string which you cut a bit longer, the one which you are going to use to make the loop, and start making forward-backward knots with it onto the rest of the strings to form the loop. I make about 15 forward-backward knots with it, but if you like your loops to be bigger, just make a larger number of knots. Once done, adjust it a bit and your loop is done. Now we need to make a shaped start for the bracelet. First tape down the loop and make sure to push the ends of the loop closer to one another. Then take the string which you are going to use for knotting the background, tape its end down and make a forward-backward knot with it onto the rest of the strings. Make sure to make a firm knot so you bring all the strings and the two ends of the loop together. Then split the strings into two groups. Since we have 12 strings, we will split them into two groups of 6 strings. Then make a backward-forward knot with your background string onto the first group and a forward-backward knot onto the second group. In order to achieve the triangle shape, in each new row we will add one string from each group to the middle. To achieve the straight edges, we will make forward-backward knots onto the right edges and a backward-forward knots onto the left edges. Onto the strings we add in the middle, we will make backward knots where we knot from right to the left side and forward knots where we knot from left to right side. After we have added one string from each group to the middle, We will make a forward-backward knot onto the strings on the right edge. Two backward knots onto the middle strings. And a backward forward knot onto the strings on the left edge. Straighten the row with a ruler. And move to the next row and add another string from each group to the middle. In total, we will now have four strings in the middle. Again, make a backward forward knot onto the left edge. Four forward knots onto the middle strings. And a forward backward knot onto the right edge. Continue by adding one additional string from each group to the middle with each new row and knotting as explained just now, until there is only one string left on each edge. Make sure to straighten the rows with a ruler after each new row you make as well. Now we can begin knotting. You can see that the first row needs to be knotted only with the background color, but the first four knots on the left side in the second row needs to be knotted with another color. I will show you two ways how to introduce new colors into the pattern, and based on the first way, we need to introduce a new color into the mixed row before, onto the string before the knotting with the new color begins, in this case the fifth string. Put the first four strings on the left side to the side. And align a new color with the fifth string. Then, begin knotting the first row with your background color. First, make a backward forward knot onto the first string on the left edge. Then make 3 forward knots onto the base strings. Then proceed with making a forward knot onto the fifth bass string and a new color. And then continue making forward knots until you reach the last string, when you'll make a forward backward knot onto the last string on the right edge to finish the row. Then move to the next row. You can see that in this row we need to switch the colors. To do so, you need to make 8 knots with your background color and then switch to your new color. First, put to the side 4 strings on the left side, which needs to be knotted with another color. Then make a forward backward knot onto the last string. Then make 6 backward knots. And when you reach the 5th string, the one with the new color, make the first half of the backward knot with your background color. Then move the new color to the left, the direction in which you are knotting, and make the second half of the backward knot with the background color. Then we will begin knotting with the new color and feed the background color to the string, which is the first string, prior to the string when we start knotting with it again in the next row. In this case, we start knotting with the background color in the next row on the 4th string, so we need to feed it to the 3rd string in the current row. To do so, make the first half of the backward knot with the new color. Pull the background color to the side, and then make the second half of the knot with the new color. Now we need to align the background color to the 3rd string to prepare it for knotting in the next row. Put it down, aligning it to the 3rd string, and make a backward knot with the new color onto the 3rd string and the background color. Then proceed finish the row with the new color. Straighten the row with a ruler, and let me show you how to change and feed the colors one more time. First count the number of strings which needs to be knotted with new color. Then make a backward forward knot with the new color onto the 1st string and a forward knot onto the 2nd string. Then make the first half of the forward knot with it onto the 3rd string and the background color. Then move the background color to the right and make the second half of the knot with the new color. Now we need to switch the colors, and to do so, make the first half of the forward knot with the background color. Pull the new color to the side and make the second half of the knot with the background color. Now we need to feed the color to the 7th string, the first string prior to the string when we start knotting with it in the next row. To do so, make the first half of the knot again, pull the new color to the side, and make the second half of the knot. Repeat this to the next string as well. And then align the new color to the 7th string to prepare it for knotting in the next row. Put it down and make a forward knot with the background color onto the 7th string and the new color. Then proceed knotting with the background color to finish the row. Now I'm gonna show you the second way how to introduce a new color. Let's finish knotting the next row and then move to the 5th row, where we introduce a second new color. Tape down the second new color, darker green, and put it to the side while you make first 3 knots. Then, make the first half of the forward knot with the light green color. Pull the background color to the side and do the same with the second new color, dark green color. Then make the second half of the knot with the light green color. Now we need to make one knot with the dark green color, and we do it the same way as before. Make the first half of the knot with it. Now pull the other 2 colors, which we are feeding, to the side. And make the second half of the knot with the dark green color. Now continue knotting as explained before. Now that you know how to switch the colors and how to feed them through the knots, let me explain to you how to switch the colors on the edges. When there is the same color at the end of one row and the beginning of the next one, and when there is one color at the end of one row and a different one at the beginning of the next row. Let's finish knotting this row until we reach the last string on the left side. Since the last string in this row and the first string in the next row are the same color, we align the light green color with the last base string, make a backward-forward knot with the dark green color to finish this row, straighten it with the ruler, and then make the first half of the backward-forward knot onto the first string in the next row. Pull the light green color to the right and make the second half of the knot with the dark green color. Now we continue knotting as explained before. Now I'll show you how to switch the colors when there are different colors at the edges. We need to finish this row with the light green color and start the next one with the background color. To do so, align the background color with the last base string, make a backward forward knot with the light green color to finish this row, straighten it with the ruler, and then align the light green color to the first string in the new row, and make the first half of the backward forward knot with the background color onto the first string and the light green color. Pull the light green color to the right and make the second half of the knot with the background color. Adjust it a bit and continue knotting as explained before. And this is the first part of the pattern we knotted. You can see what the front looks like, but the real star is the back. Look how amazing it looks. Continue knotting until you reach the desired length of your bracelet and then finish it with a shaped end. Now I'll show you how to make a shaped end of your bracelet and how to leave out the colors once you are done knotting with them. To make a triangular shape at the end of your bracelet, follow the same principle as at the start. Just instead of adding strings to the middle, add them to the edges. And to remove the colors you do not need anymore, just leave them out while knotting and cut them off later. First, put the colors you are leaving out to the side. Then, make a backward forward knot with the background color onto the first two strings. Then, make 8 forward knots. And finish the row by making a forward backward knot onto the last two strings. Then move to the next row. Add an additional string to the edges. And again, make a forward-backward knot onto the last 3 strings. Make 6 backward knots. And to finish the row, make a backward forward knot onto the last 3 strings. Repeat the process until all your strings are knotted together with one knot. Once you are done, put the background color to the side to cut it off later, or use it to make the twisted ties to finish the bracelet, as I did. If you do not know how to make twisted ties, check out my tutorial on how to do so. Once you are done making twisted ties, all that's left to do is to cut off the excess strings in the back and you are done. Cut them off as close to the bracelet as possible. If you want, you can add a drop of clear nail polish to the places where you cut them off, just to be sure the strings stay in their places. And that's it. Do you like this technique? Will you use it to make your alphas in the future? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, like, comment, subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss my new tutorials. Not with you next week. Bye!